like Durant has been on this team?
It might sound crazy because, look, he did lead the West in All-Star voting. It's Team it's Steph versus Team LeBron. So he got more votes than Durant. But I really do think we are taking him for granted. You know, I think this guy, I mean, he's averaging 28 points a game. You would think the way we covered the Warriors that Kevin Durant's the leading scorer. Now, I do think Kevin Durant's their best player, but I think Steph is their most important player. When Steph is on the floor and Durant's not, they win at a ridiculous pace and blow teams out. When Durant's on the floor and Steph's not, they win, but it's 5 points.
They're a regular good basketball team. When Durant's there and Steph's not, they're a regular good team. It's not the case the other way.
And I think, I got to be honest, and I hope Steph keeps this up since he came back. As you said, he's averaging 31 points a game. I hope he keeps this up because I have felt like ever since Kevin Durant went there, like we've been robbed. I don't have a problem with KD doing it, but Steph Curry, what he did Saturday night, he was doing that like every week, once a week, 2 years ago before they got Kevin Durant. He was putting on absolute light shows with his shooting, and now those performances are few and far between.
Didn't we get the same thing when LeBron went to Miami, though? Like, he didn't explode like we saw. Man, when he went off on Detroit, I mean, when he went off on Boston and Cleveland, like LeBron used to take over. Like, he was more apt to get 35 to 40 a performance like this when he was playing with
he averaged 30 in Cleveland one year.
The biggest difference.
He wasn't as exciting to me, though, as Steph.
No, it's a different thing.
And the biggest distinction I would draw is Steph, though Steph proved the way he did it 2 years ago, you can win a title that way. LeBron's, the way he was playing pre-Miami in Cleveland, where he had to do everything, they couldn't win a title that way. That's why that is my biggest, bitterness is the only word I can come up with. And maybe it's unfair, but it's my biggest bitterness towards Kevin Durant. Because as an NBA fan, I wanted to see how far Steph could push it.
Yes, I'm with you.
The people think I don't like Steph Curry. I am in awe of Steph Curry. I'm not a fan of the Warriors as a whole, but Steph's year, the unanimous MVP year, was the single most efficient offensive year I've ever seen, and I think the league's ever seen. Since he came back from injury, by the way, he is averaging. He's playing better than he played that year. But because the Warriors don't need it every night like they did 2 years ago, I don't think he'll sustain it. Not because he can't anymore. And so I just think we're not getting to see the best of Kevin Durant or the best of Steph Curry. To answer the question,
I think we may be seeing the best of Kevin Durant because now he's doing it on the defensive end. He's not giving you quite as many points. He's still giving you 26 points a game, obviously playing well. But defensively, we didn't see this Kevin Durant in OKC. But I agree with you. We're not seeing the best of Steph.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is both of them are more complete basketball players. And that's what
Steph is now.
Well, absolutely, because they have to defer. But also, Steph has a couple years under his belt of doing the same thing. I think Steph is a lot better basketball player today than he was 2 years ago when he's MVP. And the reason why? He goes to the paint more. He can finish better at the rim now. Now, we know he always...
He was a good finisher,
I understand that. But the overall physical contact used to have more of an effect on Steph in the game than it does now. I believe that his ball handling has gotten so much better since he's gotten into the NBA. Steph didn't dribble like this in college, and you see it through all the videos and all the hard work. His ability, and he's the only superstar on Golden State that can measure it from the three-point line to the bucket. KD doesn't get to the bucket like that. Clay doesn't get to the bucket like that. So his ability, that's what makes him special, and that's why I believe this is an iconic run, and that's why it's an iconic team. You guys might be saying, oh, I was robbed. Yeah, when you have that type of talent on one team, you're not going to be able to see the best of because it's a team game.
And usually you don't, like we didn't see Magic Johnson without Kareem. So we don't know what Magic may have done had he come into the league and had to play on his own without Kareem, and it would have went down, the scoring and stuff, with Kareem. The thing is this is where the trade-off is. We don't know for a fact that Steph could have continued to lead Golden State to championships, and I think he'll lead them they will win championships. You may disagree, but remember, he didn't get the MVP in their first title, although I thought he should have. The second year, they didn't win it.
Right.
And he was banged up a little bit in those playoffs. So if Durant had not
started
gone
off
there,
slow too, and then finished
exactly.
strong.
So if Durant had not gone there, would Steph have played that way in the playoffs as he did in the regular season? We don't know. You could make a good argument that he would have got broken down physically.
The question is, are we starting to take Steph for granted? I think, in general, you mentioned the All-Star voting. I think he's still incredibly popular, but I think somehow he's become almost underrated because people are like, oh, he's not the best guy on his own team. Like, he's probably not better than Durant. I think Durant's number 2. But Steph's, and that's only because Durant is so demonstrably a better defensive player. But you mentioned, Durant, we're seeing the best of Durant to a degree, but it's why I didn't like Durant's comments about Clint Capella, about when your job's easy. Because for Durant is playing the most efficient offensive basketball of his life and the best defensive basketball of his life. He's also on a team where he's not the best offensive player, that's Steph, and he's not the best defensive player, that's Draymond. Now, he might be the best total package, but he's in such a unique situation. We saw it Saturday night. Durant didn't have any big game. Kyrie was unbelievable, and they win. Why? Because Steph was lights out.
Cris, could this Warriors team win with just one of these two guys? Steph?
I mean, they proved they could win with Steph. So I definitely think
they could. Championship.
I think they could definitely win the championship with just Steph.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't think
so? What do you think has changed from when they went to was it 2015? When they won it?
Their bench depth. And if you're taking out Durant, they don't have no rim protection. Well, we didn't know this Kevin Durant. Like, we didn't know that. So they have no rim protector. And there's other teams that can outshoot them. Like, you can't beat Houston without KD. Like, you can't beat them. Like, the way they play, they match up well. They could match their tempo, match their style of play, and they're not going to beat LeBron without KD.
They would. I don't think last year they would have. I don't think they in that final series. I think they clearly needed Durant. I wouldn't write them off. If we found out today Durant was done for the year, they are no longer these favorites. But I think they're in the mix.
Who would be the favorite?
I think Houston would become the favorites. I think right now, if we found out Durant was done for the year, I think we'd find out.
I really feel strongly they wouldn't be the definitive favorites, but I still think they could win it without Durant.
Do you think they could win it real quick without Steph?
I'm going to say no.
I don't think so. I don't think they can win. If they lose any one of those players, any of the four.
Any of the four?
Yes.
Really?
Clay? I believe Clay's the most
valuable too.
Clay is the most underrated player in the NBA in my book. And we know what Draymond brings.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.